the big fight between Gervonta Tank Davis and King Ryan Garcia draws closer. A few Saturdays from now, April 22nd, Gervonta Davis and Ryan Garcia will finally square off in a very exciting and very anticipated matchup. In this video, I'll give you why I believe Gervonta Tank Davis will defeat Ryan Garcia and his true keys to victory in this bout. Now, Gervonta Davis and Ryan Garcia, neither of them, in my opinion, have the best resumes. Neither of them have taken on the toughest challenges. They both have some okay wins each. Gervonta Davis' best wins being Mario Barrios, Jose Pedraza, Isaac Cruz. Ryan Garcia's best wins being Luke Campbell, Javier Fortuna. Neither fighter has had to dig deep. Neither fighter's had to push too hard in their careers. There's been occasions where Gervonta Davis has had a tough fight, such as against Isaac Cruz or against Mario Barrios, and when Ryan Garcia was dropped against Luke Campbell. But in my opinion, one key to victory for Gervonta Davis, and one reason that I truly believe he will win this fight, is I believe his effective pressure will give Ryan Garcia lots of issues. Now, Ryan Garcia fights very confidently on the front foot and fights much better coming forward than fighting on the back foot. He does have a good jab, Ryan. He does have good fundamentals. However, he's much more comfortable pushing the action and pushing his opponent back, battering them, stopping them, or winning a wide decision, such as against Emmanuel Tagoe. However, when these two fight, I believe Ryan Garcia will, for the most part, be on the back foot and get pushed back by Tank, and because of this, I feel he'll be much more vulnerable. The second reason I'm picking Gervonta Tank Davis to win this fight is I believe the inside game heavily benefits Davis, and I believe once the fight gets on the inside, it will be very difficult for Ryan. Once again, Ryan Garcia, I did say he prefers to push the action. However, it's very obvious that he prefers fighting at mid-range or on the outside. Now, Tank Davis is pretty good on the outside and mid-range as well. However, he's much more lethal and much more dangerous once he gets in close. Keep in mind, Ryan Garcia is considerably taller than Tank Davis, so once Tank gets in range, he'll be able to go to the body because there's going to be a huge hitbox down there, as Ryan Garcia has a much larger torso than Tank. He'll go to the body, he'll throw uppercuts on the inside, which is one of his best punches, his uppercut, if not his best punch, I would say. He would get in close range, he'd push him on the ropes, he'd be on the front foot, make Ryan uncomfortable, and he'd dominate him on the inside. That's the second reason I'm picking Tank to win this fight. The third reason is experience. Now, I did mention that neither fighter has too much experience at world level. They both have experience at world level, but not too much. But it's very apparent that Tank has more. When you look at these two fighters, Tank Davis, he has had to dig deeper in his career. Against Mario Barrios, who's hurt to the body, people don't mention this much. He wasn't badly hurt, but he was definitely feeling those shots and definitely not taking them too great. He was down on the cards early and had to push hard to take back the lead, drop Barrios a couple times, and stop him in the 11th. Against Isaac Cruz, it was a very competitive fight where he attempted to dig deep. He didn't really take too much control of the fight, but he definitely won a lot of the later rounds, which was able to get him a very close decision. When you look at his more recent fights against Rolly Romero, where he was getting outworked and pushed back, he landed the perfect counter shot to get Rolly out of there. When you look at Hector Garcia, he was losing the early rounds in that fight as well, before figuring Garcia out and getting the victory. I believe Tank has more experience. He's fought at more weight classes. He's fought for more titles. He's the only one that's actually been a champion of the two. Had to do in his career, the most adversity he's had to push through was a very close and arguably gift win against Carlos Morales earlier in his career, and then getting dropped a few fights later against Luke Campbell, which in my opinion was a great learning experience for Ryan, and probably the best thing to happen to him was when he got dropped by Luke Campbell heavily, got up, pushed through, and eventually stopped him in the 7th. So Ryan Garcia does have some moments of adversity that he's had to push through, but I believe Tank has far more experience. I believe that Tank Davis, stylistically, has a big advantage in this fight, as I said, because once the fight gets in close range, Ryan Garcia will be very uncomfortable. He keeps his chin up in the air, which I want to mention. I believe Ryan Garcia's poor defense is going to cost him heavily in this fight. He keeps his chin high in the air. He gets hit considerably. We saw Javier Fortuna land some nice shots on Ryan. They weren't big shots, but he was landing pretty consistently in Ryan Garcia. We've seen Ryan Garcia get touched up in virtually every fight he's had. Tank gets touched up as well, but you don't really see Tank get hit by flush haymakers like you see Ryan Garcia get hit by. So Ryan Garcia's defense is far worse than Gervonta Davis's as well. And I believe the main reason that I'm picking Gervonta to win, aside from stylistically and skill level, but a big reason I'm picking Gervonta to win is I believe he has a little more grit than Ryan Garcia. Now, I give Ryan credit. I do believe he's a tough kid. He's tougher than I thought he was a few years back. He has more heart than I thought he did. But Tank Davis, I believe, will dig deeper and push harder for this win. Keep in mind, Tank has a lot of issues outside of the ring that he needs to be resolved, and that partially depend on the outcome of this fight. Tank needs his victory even more than Ryan, in my opinion. Tank Davis is older than Ryan Garcia. He's gotten more criticism for his opposition than Ryan Garcia. He's been on the scene a lot longer than Ryan. If he loses to Ryan Garcia, it would be very bad for him. Ryan Garcia could get away if a Tank Davis loss, but Tank losing to Ryan, that's not going to go very well for him. Obviously, they could have a rematch down the line, but I feel Tank knows he needs this win. He's going to push harder, he's going to dig deeper, and I think he's going to knock Ryan Garcia out in either the 8th or 9th round. Tank Davis can very well get outboxed this fight and lose, but I see him eventually figuring Ryan out. Ryan keeps his chin high up in the air, his defense is very leaky, and Tank will probably get him out of there late, but it's going to be a very good fight. These are the reasons I'm picking Gervonta to win this fight. I do feel Ryan Garcia has a very good shot, though. At one point, I was very confident Tank would win this fight, but as time has gotten closer, and as I've assessed their performances and how they've looked in their careers, this is a much tougher fight to predict than I thought it would be. For me, it's definitely Tank by KO in the 8th or 9th round, or Ryan Garcia by decision, which I know is a very bold take and not many people expect. But if Ryan Garcia wins this fight, remember that I said this, it will be by a unanimous split or majority decision. It will go the full 12 rounds. He will not knock out Gervonta Davis. He might hurt Tank. He might drop Tank. He might have him out on his feet, but I don't actually see him stopping Gervonta Davis. This is a great fight. It's a fight people are very looking forward to. I believe the main difference for Ryan, he does not have the chin Tank does, in my opinion, either. Because I do think Ryan does have a chin on him, but I do believe his chin is not as good as Tank's. We've seen Tank Davis take some big shots in his career. I don't even think Tank's ever been dropped in his career. Ryan Garcia, on the other hand, we've seen him dropped by Luke Campbell. We've seen him not react too well to shots. How will Ryan Garcia react when Tank Davis is in his grill, throwing big shots to the body, throwing big uppercuts while he's on the ropes, bruising Ryan Garcia up? We know Ryan Garcia loves doing his modeling and always talks about how much money he makes as a model. If Tank Davis starts to really break down his face, give him cuts, bruises, broken bones, swelling, how is Ryan Garcia going to react? I know if that happens to Tank, Tank will keep fighting on, and he'll keep digging deep and trying to get the victory. But if Ryan Garcia's face gets broken up and battered and destroyed, how is Ryan going to react? Is he going to fight in confidence? Is he going to fight in stride? Or is he going to fold and crumble? It's going to be a very interesting test for both fighters. It's going to be very interesting to see how Ryan Garcia adapts to Gervonta Davis' pressure and his power. And I do feel it will be fun to see how Tank reacts to Ryan Garcia's work rate and his volume, because I think that is one upside Ryan Garcia has in his fight over Tank. His work rate and his volume is far better. I believe his hand speed is far better. But his power, I do think Tank is the bigger puncher of the two. It's not too much of a debate. A lot of people know that Ryan does have a lot of power, but I do think Tank hits a little harder. Both fighters are big punchers, though. They're both young. They're both in their prime. They're both flashy. They're both famous. This is going to be one of the biggest fights of the year, and it's going to be very interesting to see how it plays out. Tell me your thoughts in the comment section below. What are your keys to victory for both fighters? Who do you think is going to win this fight? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? What's your prediction? Have a good one, guys. Tell me down below. God bless. I'll see you guys later. Peace.